afternoon. Yeah, thank you so much for being here today. I think I mixed up the seats, so I'm Maria. I'm not Sergio, obviously, so apologies for that. I didn't listen to the instructions carefully. So, like I said, I'm Maria. I'm the CEO of Gedeon, Mohr and Partners, a growth and transformation consultancy that was born in Dubai about a year and a half ago. And I'm super excited to be at the Retail Summit again this year, sharing it with these brilliant panelists here to uncover and demystify AI in retail and to listen to some real use cases and real journeys of how these amazing brands are transforming and starting their AI journeys. In keeping with our panel theme this morning, I wasn't sure what to wear, so I turned to wearing, so thank you very much, Bianca. And it's a pleasure to have its founder and CEO with us today. Joining her are Saud from Al Sulaiman Group, Ronaldo, founder of Souk and VP at Amazon, and Sergio Hertz from the Cultura bookstore. Sorry if I butchered the name of your company. We've heard a lot today about the change and how fast things have been changing. And the last couple of years have undoubtedly disrupted our everyday lives, especially with retail, with supply chain disruption, a more demanding consumer, inflation, and obviously a heartbreaking situation in Palestine. But zooming out and taking the longer-term view, and after speaking to leaders from all over the world, I have a widely shared confidence and a real optimism that when we look back on this era, one thing it will be remembered for is how fast things have been changing, and that digital transformation and AI that led to so many lasting innovations in business and technology. Today, we're going to share with you how AI how these amazing organizations are leveraging AI. They're all obviously at different maturities, but they've all started their journeys, and we have some real good stories and case studies. So let's dive into some of these discussions and uncover these actionable insights that you can take with you after this session. We heard a little bit or a lot about Gen Zs today, so Bianca, my first question is to you. For decades, brands and businesses have been living these dual lives, a physical one and a digital one, and we still talk a lot about bricks and mortar and digital. Obviously, Gen Alphas and Gen Zs grew up typing, swapping, and pinching the screen, while simultaneously engaging in these real-world experiences. They can't really differentiate digital and physical. It's a mono-channel. And I think at Waring, you managed to integrate both very seamlessly, and you use, obviously, AI quite a lot to power your app. So do you want to just give our audience a little bit of a glimpse on how you use it to give the users that amazing experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So I'll start with just giving you guys a little bit of background to make it as actionable as possible. So for us, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the movie Clueless that came out in 1995, and that took, surprisingly actually, boomers, millennials, and Gen Zs by storm as a pop culture phenomenon. But in essence, what it was basically a teenage girl living in LA who, in the 90s, had this computer where she had her clothes, her tops, bottoms, and shoes, and was able to pick out basically an outfit for her for school every day based on the weather. And then she would go to her physical closet, pick it out, and that outfit would be absolutely perfect. And I think for me, that's sort of the genesis of this, mono sort of channel experience that you're discussing, and was a big source of inspiration for us as we focused on three key things to help achieve this at the early stages when building out our platform, which is a digital wardrobe and personal styling app that has over 4 million users at pre-seed, which is pretty incredible. And so these three things for me are very important. The first is really staying true to the customer pain point and following that journey incredibly closely. The second one is thinking about convenience, especially when we talk about Gen Z and Gen Alpha. That's top of mind for them at every single kind of stage gate or point in their journey. And the last one is really thinking about how you can stay on top of where you see customer engagement shifting to. So if we start with the first one, which is about understanding the customer pain point. For us, that was thinking about how do I plan my outfits every day? How do I plan for an upcoming trip to Dubai? I need to look presentable, guys. How do I make sure that I can shop ethically, find things that are basically personalized recommendations to fill my wardrobe gaps? Basically, we looked at what the customer was already doing in a manual way without our product, and tried to think about how we could use data collection initially and then power AI features and capabilities to help enhance and delight that experience. And I think that is incredibly important when you're first starting out in that journey. The second point is about thinking about convenience. So for us, if we take the Gen Z use case, which is the growing and largest segmentation in our audience, which we acquire 95% organically month on month, and so we're really attuned to sort of the way that they are and what they're expecting from the product when they download it, is thinking about basically what are their top kind of products right now in terms of apps, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and trying to embed interoperability between those platforms and our platform. So for instance, a typical use case for us would be to say, we know that they're saving a lot of inspiration on Pinterest. How could we build out computer vision models that allow us, with one click, to replicate those outfits from the popular platforms that they're using and bring those into wearing to drive up engagement and retention? The last example, a little bit about staying ahead and sort of thinking about where you see engagement shifting and where new trends for your demographics are coming in to potentially disrupt product and the market. For us, this was a lot about thinking about video, thinking about social capabilities, and thinking about circular economy plugins, right? Whether that's repair, ethical donation, or styling services, whatever it is, to help people make the most of what they own and supplant what we're able to do in the product. And I think that kept us very much abreast of what was going on, and we were therefore enabled to integrate these things quite quickly into our roadmap to stay as dynamic as possible and make sure that we capture as much engagement as possible.
I love the sustainability angle and the fact that you're using AI across the funnel. I think it's pretty commendable. Thank you very much, and a great app. So if you don't own it, please download the app. Sergio, I'm going to turn to you now. As a retailer that started in the bricks and mortar space, Livraria Cultura is now embarking on its digital approach. How are you integrating AI and using AI to enhance your customer experience? I still love the experience of holding a book and seeing its cover and the paper, but I think it would be nice to hear how you're doing that shift to digital.
Hi, everyone.
And
can you hear me?
Sergio came this morning all the way from
Brazil.
Flew from Brazil, but did a few stopovers. So yeah, we're very international.
Thanks for having me here. Great question. We started selling online in '94, and since the beginning we had this integration with the physical stores. And for us, it was clear that our differentiation was in the physical stores, in the experience that we delivered to our customers. But in the digital world, we have a lot of data. We know how to follow our customers. You have everything that they want. You have the customer's eyes, because we follow what they search, we follow what they want, and in the physical stores we don't have it. We don't know what the customers put in the basket, what the customers left in the shelves, and now with the AI we have much more power to follow the customers, to know better the customers, to create more significant recommendations for our clients, and it's a revolution. I mean, in terms of how can we deliver experience in our physical stores to our customers. It's a brand new world. It demands a lot of change. In terms of cultural change within our company. It's a huge change, and we are just at the beginning. We are not prepared for this new world. I think the change is going to be much faster than the digital transformation that we faced in the last years. But I think we are just in the beginning, and we are practicing like Using AI, we are doing like, sorry about I forgot the word.
No worries, take your time.
Dynamic pricing, for example.
Yeah.
We are changing the prices by hour, by customer. We are learning how the customers behave in terms of what's the better time to offer a promotion. And depends of the city, you can do a different promotion. As a lot of players doing it online, we are doing in our physical stores. And there's a lot of opportunities now with AI for physical stores.
That's fantastic. I love the fact that you're bringing the big data and the small data together to try and create your hypotheses and your models. I'm going to turn to you, Ronald. As someone or a brand that started selling books as well online, and now the largest and most mature, one of the largest and most mature e-commerce companies in the world. And according to SimilarWeb, you're the fifth most Google keyword globally. Could you describe what are some of the unique challenges as Amazon you have in the MENA region and how AI is addressing some of them? And if you have any learnings from our friends in the US.
I mean, obviously, since we launched Amazon in the region after the Souk acquisition, our focus, what we think customers want, has always been, can we bring more selection? Many customers in the region always told us that while they like shopping in the region, they don't find everything they want. Many of the brands bring very few of their products here and leave a lot behind, because of profitability, limited shelf space, all the challenges. So selection is a big focus for us on how we expand what we offer customers. To give you perspective, like in the Souk days, we have 2 to 5 million products on the website. On the Amazon AE website, we're at 150 million. Unique SKUs, so you can see the scale of what we can offer. Obviously, not all the selection is here, some of it is here, some of it is abroad, but we're able to offer more selection, so that's pretty clear. Sergio talked about how pricing and convenient and AI can play, so customers always want the better prices. We want to bring as many offers and as many retailers onto the platform to have that dynamic. And clearly, in the region, delivery and the delivery experience, our customers want things very fast. We over-index on convenience in the region. If in the most of the world, Prime is a 1-2 day program, for example, in the US, here it's same day, so it's within 4 hours to next day max. So with that, we have the challenges of addresses. So this region, you don't have a unified postal code, you don't have postal system. Even many customers don't know their code, even if it's available. So trying to go with Prime fast on hundreds of millions of products, at the same time trying to figure out where customers are and how fast we deliver for them. And this combination of solving for addressing, solving for selection, bringing that through AI and continuously learning. Obviously, when we launched Prime 2-3 years ago, we were not as fast as today. The fact that we understand now where our customers are, where the product is situated, how we can bring all that together over time with AI, we've been able, for example, to improve. Last, I would want to talk about Arabic. So a lot of the content and selection that we offer on our website is not manufactured in the Gulf. We manufacture very little here, so most of it comes from abroad. And a lot of the catalogs abroad are much, much richer than the Arabic ones. So we use AI both on the text front, how to machine translate and improve the translation, and continuously teaching the systems, the current language in whatever repository is available. And today with large language model, you can now go through a lot more and get better results and speak back to the customer in a language that are more familiar with than the transitional. And then you have on the voice side with Alexa, it's no secret the Arab world has so many accents. Trying to bring the understanding of Alexa and all Nahdi, Hijazi, for example, in Saudi alone is an undertaking. While they all are Arabic, they're very different accents of Arabic. We're using, for example, machine learning there to improve our voice recognition in our device business.
That's fantastic, and I think you're probably a lot more advanced, and hopefully we can start having a 2-hour delivery in Dubai soon, if you know if you've resolved some of these challenges. Saud, I'm going to turn over to you, and we heard a little bit about how young the population is in this part of the world, with a demographical skew towards much younger audiences, and about 62% of the population is Saudi, being younger than 30 years old. They have high expectations, they're very tech savvy, they're hungry for innovation. How are you using AI to cater to this very young, digitally native audience for some of your brands, like IKEA, for example, in Saudi and Bahrain?
Sure. Let me give you a quick story about how we actually leveraged AI for one of our investments. So while looking at trying to explore opportunities through key elements within the Saudi 2030 vision, which goes around basically tourism, giga projects, housing programs, all of this fuels industries like hotels and the housing industry. So in order for us to leverage on this, of course, all of these projects will require furniture, commercial furniture mainly. So for us to leverage on this, we decided to enter into the commercial real estate furniture industry. While, however, looking at that industry, a lot of players in that industry are very traditional players. It's players who manage the process of design, procurement, and installation with no real competitive advantage or differentiation between each other. Therefore, we decided to enter into this industry through a partnership, strategic partnership with a company called Inhabitor. Inhabitor is a Silicon Valley company that differentiated its business model through AI. They were able actually to execute projects with almost 50% much quicker than others and 30% much more cost-effective than others.
Wow.
And in US by itself, they were able to, until up to date, to furnish more than 20,000 different commercial real estate, from hotels to student housing to multifamily units. So once we looked at, all of this opportunity, we said, you know what, this is an area that we want to enter into and work with the LiveSpace, with the Inhabitor, to enter into this opportunity. How are they actually using AI in their business? I'll just give you quick examples of maybe how we're using AI. Example on product information. On product information, they're actually analyzing a huge amount of data when it comes to suppliers, furniture suppliers, and vendors. And they're using that data to look at cost, availability, styles, to come out with the best solution for the customer. They're doing that the same as well through using also conversational AI. And through conversational AI, they're creating very seamless engagement, with the customer, as if you are actually engaging with a professional designer on the other side. For example, you would go through a design process saying, you know what, please change this background color from blue to gray, or please swap this sofa with a product that matches that painting. So that whole journey that they're going through is very interesting. And then we look at also other things that they're doing. They are also using it in procurement as well, which really creates a huge efficiency in the process. So in procurement, they're using different sourcing algorithms to really optimize purchasing. And their purchasing is actually connected with an AI cloud that has hundreds of suppliers and vendors connected with it. How they're really optimizing is, example, looking at how do we select the best vendor or the best factory. And they look at, for example, non-functional shifts in a factory, second or third shift that are non-functioning. They look at discounted products versus obsolete products altogether to create a mix of all the new products when they select. They look at also the optimized sourcing from countries that have tariffs versus countries that have neither no tariffs or less tariffs altogether. So I think with that journey, we saw a company that really created a differentiation in their business model, but also created much better results than traditional companies. So we're looking forward, inshallah, very soon to enter this year, inshallah, both Saudi and UAE market.
That's fantastic. So you're using it for efficiency, for planning, for customer experience. And I think we always say, don't use digital and tech at the expense of the customer experience. But here it sounds that with the amount of innovation, I think we're able to overcome that challenge. I'm going to turn back to you, Ronaldo. And I think we heard a little bit about partnerships and how, as a brand alone, you cannot do it. You need to rely on partners. And as a marketplace, you rely heavily on your sellers and your partners. Do you also apply AI innovations to the seller experience on your store?
I mean, obviously, working backwards from what the sellers ask or require to be successful. Some of the sellers start small, and then quickly their business have grown to hundreds of millions of dollars on our site. What we hear from them is, and we talked a little bit about it, how do we describe products in a way that not how we make them, but how customers would consume them. So we have many products to help these sellers and merchants and businesses and brand owners to list. As we talked about also, because we have so many products, the sellers do use some of our advertising programs. And generically, a small business can create 1, 2, 3, 4 ads, and they run them across the total different segments and mature customers, new customers. But now with AI, they're able to generate millions of ads, and the ads kind of change themselves based on the customer profile, what he searched. So a lot of customization. And third, what we like is to, when customers review the products of these sellers, we want to make sure that the sellers are understand, because there are vast amount of reviews, but there are key elements in the review that could help the brand evolve itself. For example, I'm a speaker manufacturer, but many customers in the region were complaining as either the bass or the sound, or for the local music, somehow the sound was low or some of the notes are missing. So they could get that in the reviews and then go back and tune the equalizer in these speakers, for example, to improve the product. So a lot we can do basically to make the seller more efficient, because we understand that probably they have smaller teams, they worry more about their margin, they have a lot to focus on, which is the product design and manufacturing on the product, and the rest of the online journey, be it in description, which is what customers see, but also where to place these products, where to put them, where to ship them, based on demand signals that we actually offer to them, improving their cash flow as well.
And I suspect that increases your revenue as well, and your ad revenue. They would have been spending that revenue elsewhere, and now they spend it on your platform. So I guess it's a win-win, right?
The ad business is very interesting because it's linked with the decision-making and a shopping, right? So you're not just advertising, you're advertising an ad for a customer who's looking for that segment, who already shops on Amazon. So the ROI is much higher, we see, for advertisers who have products on the same platform.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think I heard a lot what you and Saud have been talking about. And obviously, to start your journey and to be successful, you need data, right? You need your data to be clean, to be stored properly, to be organized. You need people who understand that data. And we debated on our call, what comes first? Your data strategy or your AI strategy? And Bianca, I'm going to turn over to you. Perhaps give our audience some advice on if they wanted to start their journey using AI, where do they start and how do they go about it?
Love the question. Very chicken and egg. I think from my perspective, obviously starting out, B2C to then power a B2B proposition, for us it was really a no-brainer because it's linked directly to sort of defensibility. I think from a retail perspective, it may be that actually it's easier initially to just outsource, to do plug and play, to be able to target specific areas that you want to see an uplift in, whether that's virtual try-on or customer service bots or whatever you think is focal as a first case study. study to be able to then divert further resources to that area. But coming back to our journey, for us, it was very clear that data was the first protocol, because not only would that allow us to commercialize it much quicker, but it would allow us basically to create the bedrock, i.e. the data flywheel that we would create through the app, to be able to then basically train proprietary machine learning models that I've mentioned before, like image recognition, outfit creation models, our styling algorithm itself. So the way that we went about this process was thinking first and foremost about how we could embed data harvesting into the product in a smart and sort of seamless way that feels very relevant to the customer experience, i.e. to the features that they're coming to us for. So all the way from onboarding to gamification, throughout the app, we interact with the customer to ask them, how is this outfit? What are your preferred kind of pieces together? What are your favorite brands? All of these things. But we also monitor every interaction that they have in the app in terms of how are they swiping on the AI? What are they liking in terms of what their friends have on the profile? All of these things are taken into account for us to build out and begin to sort of segment users, think about profiling, think about unique style personas that then can be diverted into either personalized recommendations, and that's incredibly relevant and incredibly powerful for the user, but also into sort of anonymized aggregate data sets that we're able to share with brands. Because so far, this is absolutely unparalleled data, right? It's data into people's actual wardrobes, what they're wearing, how they're wearing products, what's happening to products bought from stores. Are they getting resold, through us and one-click resale integrations? Are they being discarded? At what point in the lifestyle? But also willingness to pay, right? We have a visibility throughout our segmentation. As you can probably tell, I love shoes, I love bags. That's where the majority of my willingness to pay goes. But that's not the same for every customer. And so, for us, it was really groundbreaking to focus on the data side because, as I said, defensibility allowed us to build our tech in-house, which lowers costs over time rather than sort of outsourcing that to suppliers, and then allows us, lastly, to power these AI features that have been in our roadmap from the beginning, but we've sort of worked backwards to create by creating that data flywheel.
And I think for brands, that data is probably priceless, right? Because if they don't have D2C and they don't have access to this information, it could be a gold mine. It's a bit of like if you guys are familiar with the dunnhumby model and groceries, for example, how they package the insights and sell the insights back to brands. So thank you very much for that. Sergio, do you want to comment a little bit about maybe personalization or using data and AI to customize and elevate the customer experience within your shop?
It's a huge challenge to do personalization today. It's not an easy task. As I mentioned before, mainly in the physical stores, there's a lack of data because the technology isn't so developed as on digital. And we have a lot of privacy issues regarding to the laws and how can you capture the data. It's not easy, and basically, people don't need to buy anything more in physical stores. They can buy anything online. Why people go to the store? That's the big question. Why people go to physical stores? And I commonly say that physical retailers are fighting for the most valuable thing in the customer's life, the time for pleasure, the time for having fun. People in Brazil mainly go to the shopping mall for having fun. And how we offer a product that customers want to buy, and basically, mainly in Brazil, if you buy anything in a shopping mall, it would be 30%, 40% more expensive than online. If you consider the parking lot, everything, it's crazy. Why people buy in stores? That's our challenge, to use AI to know better the customers. It's not an easy task. It's not something that it's in one day, in 2 days, going to do it. Because companies like Amazon, they are investing a lot in recommendation tools, everything that they got from digital world, and what is happening with the physical stores. It's a huge challenge for physical stores to implement AI and to bring real value for the customers. I don't have all the answers right now, but it's just the beginning, and I mentioned in my first part of the conversation. Physical retailers has to really create a different experience world, experience customer in the shopping malls, or otherwise we're gonna die.
And we heard a little bit this morning from MasterCard about the return, right? There's a much higher return rate when you purchase online versus when you purchase at a physical store, because you don't have an opportunity to experience the physical product, even though it sounds that it's, more expensive. At the end, for the actual retailer, I think the return rate is 16% versus 2.3%, if I remember correctly, on physical stores. So going back to Saudi Arabia, that's a very, very exciting market, I think, for a lot of the brands that want to enter the region and so on. And considering the push towards becoming a regional AI hub, you can see how much investment there's been in Saudi and in the UAE around AI. How can retailers navigate the limitations of AI and not become robots and still have a more humanized approach to consumer and customer engagement?
And I believe AI should not replace the human engagement or human touch. I think it should be more of a facilitator and an enhancer to the customer touch point or the human touch point. I think if you look at the case of Inhabitor, it actually assists the representatives in the design journey itself. And this helps them to have more of a live design discussion with the customer. So if you look at AI excels at crunching data and maybe streamlining tasks. But it cannot replace the human touch point. And I think for a successful customer engagement, you really need to embed the human touch point in the total customer journey.
That's very interesting, and involve the customer in the design process using design thinking. Any final advice for our audiences today from you guys on implementing AI, potentially the do's and the don'ts, perhaps a failure, something they shouldn't do?
I mean, looking at the previous two big evolutions in technology, the internet, mobile, and now AI, companies tend to start with like, hey, the internet, let's get an internet guy. He's the internet guy. Anyone who has in the company questions, go to this guy. It's like the minister of internet. And then you have, when mobile came, everyone like, here's the mobile app guy. You have any question, go to this guy. And now with AI, don't do the same. What we've learned is really you needed to embed the mindset of the internet in every department, because we talked about how it can help in the whole supply chain and the customer journey. Same with the mobile app. We had the drivers had the mobile app, the sellers had the mobile app, the warehouse people had the mobile app, search needs mobile. So you have to have mobile in every team. Whoever just had the mobile app team probably didn't go far. And now with AI, don't have an AI department. I think that's the easiest thing to do, because like, oh, AI is new. We're behind. Let's get a guy or get a consultant. Here's the AI.
Chief AI officer.
And if you go that route, you're almost going to be by default behind. You almost need every team to have some kind of a thought process around how AI can help them. And then hopefully the aggregate of all these initiatives, 2 or 3 of them, really make a big change in the journey of the customer or the bottom line of the company or the employee workplace environment or whatever problem you're trying to solve. So I think just avoid that chief AI officer.
I guess it's a bit like innovation, right? It's not a project, it's not a department, it's a journey, and it's data sets, skill sets, mindset, right? As long as you embed that across the organization using culture, proper sponsorship, the right use cases, you'd be successful. It's such an exciting topic, and I'm sorry we didn't dive into deep learning and predictive modeling, but I think if you want to catch some of our amazing panelists, feel free to catch them at the break. It was absolutely fantastic having you on stage. Very, very exciting to have people from all over the world, Bianca from London, Saud from Saudi, Ronaldo, who lives on the plane probably, and then is living in Dubai, and Sergio from Brazil. So please put your hands together to this amazing panel. And thank you very much for this great discussion.
Thank you.